Thank you, Senator. I don't think I have anything left to say at this point. But no, with that, we will take a few questions.
Hi, Skylar with Bloomberg here. So just to start, first thing, so back, I guess, when Biden was running, there's a lot of conversation among black male voters that the Republicans were trying to poll who were a bit undecided.
Did you say black men?
Black men, yes.
Black men.
Black men that the Republicans were trying to court away from the Democratic Party. Now with Harris as the nominee, what is, are there any concerns that that the Republicans could make gains there? Just kind of what is maybe the current, I hate to use the word vibe, but what's the current, what are you guys seeing there? And do you think Trump can pull some of those black voters still, or?
You want to start?
Yeah, I'll start, absolutely. It might not surprise you, I spend a lot of time with black men. And I've had a lot of tough conversations. I was called out by a young influencer yesterday. I had this great head of hair, and when I talked about it, I spend time having conversations in barbershops, and he just totally went at me for that. But I do visit from time to time. This is a every other day thing. I still have to shave my head. And I have heard a lot of discontent over the years, and we tell the truth to each other when we talk. But what you're seeing in the polls is what I'm experiencing in communities, which is, yeah, there were a lot of folks that were making a point that you were seeing 20+% of black men seeming like they might vote for the Republicans. But that has shifted. All the polls I've seen, it's shifted, and I'm feeling it in our communities. And one of the greatest experiences I've had as a guy who spends a lot of time on social media is the second Kamala Harris sort of announced her presidency and the president appointed, directed his endorsement towards her, and that we all rallied around her. I started seeing organically, and I hope that if you spend some time on social media, you see what I'm seeing, which is a lot of black men come forward and have this conversation digitally. And a lot of it is actually clapping back on some of the things that during her presidential campaign were just unfair, really lies about her time as a DA, about her time as the Attorney General, when she, now coming to light, had probably one of the more visionary understandings of how a criminal justice system should hold people accountable, but also should empower people to succeed. And so a lot of that truth is getting out here, and I'm seeing it melt away the kind of falsities that I think have fueled a lot of the discontent you see in a lot of folks. And then the final thing I want to say is, and this is great about the Harris campaign and great about, I think, the way they're running it, is they're not taking any voter for granted. This is a campaign that knows they have to earn the vote, that they have to work for it, that they have to speak to all of the diversity of America and call us together. And what excites me is that when it comes to African-American success under Biden-Harris, a lot of folks just don't know the story. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten on Zooms with black folk or had direct conversations that when I start bringing my receipts, most black business starts, most black people covered by health insurance, lowest black unemployment rate, black farmers, black environmental justice issues, most black people being connected to the internet and because of the infrastructure work that's done. When you start going through the receipts, I think people begin to understand what has been achieved. And then when you get someone who has lived experience that's very relatable to most Americans, women, immigrants, people who were not born with generational wealth, I think that people begin to understand that they're going to have somebody in the White House that sees them, that will fight for them, and that will continue to advance the ball. So I am looking forward to this competition for voters of all backgrounds, and I'm looking forward to working with the Harris-Walz team to earn the votes of every American. And trust me, we will be in Milwaukee. Trust me, we will be in Detroit. Trust me, I just came out of Philly last week where I was in a black barbershop and a beauty salon having these kind of conversations.
Yeah, the only thing, before we move on, the only thing I would add is that we have 75, 74 days left until the election now. As this election creeps up on the American people, as it creeps up on more black men, I think the choice is becoming more stark and more clear. In Donald Trump, what black men are seeing is somebody who stepped into public life, falsely accusing the Central Park Five, never apologizing for it after he already knew them to be the exonerated five. This is a person who stepped into political life by taking birtherism and having it go mainstream. This is somebody who, when he was president, it's not just the record of racist invective, it is the disastrous economic record by the end of his presidency, the things that had gone up for black folks in America were the unemployment rate and the uninsured rate after he fumbled the bag on the COVID response. And this is somebody who every single day out on the stump right now is leading not with policy solutions to improve the lives of black men in this country, but is leading with more invective, was leading with more hate, more chaos, more division. And so we know this is not, for many black men, this is not going to be a choice between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. It's going to be a choice between the couch and actually voting for this ticket. And so we are focused on making sure that black men across this country understand the vision that Kamala Harris has for them as we move forward over the course of the next 4 years. That's why she's out on the stump in places like North Carolina, laying out the first pillars of her economic agenda, how we're going to continue to lower costs, how we're going to continue to build economic opportunity, how we're going to create an economy where black young entrepreneurs can actually not just get by, but get ahead. And so that's going to be the fundamental contrast that we present over the course of the next 2 months here. And as the senator was saying, we're going to use every single tool at our disposal to do so, organizing heavily on the ground in cities like Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, Milwaukee. We're going to make sure that we're also investing in paid media, making sure that particularly for young black men, we're reaching them where they are, right? So not just running television ads, it's why we're over-indexing on things like digital advertisements, because we have to hit people not just with the right message and the right messengers, but you have to hit them on the platform so they're actually getting our campaign's message. So we're going to sprint through the tape and take absolutely nothing for granted.
Take that mic out and just drop it.